Why did Rex Ryan suddenly flip his stance on Shedeur Sanders? Just a week ago, Ryan was blasting the young quarterback, claiming he wasn't ready, doubting his abilities, and even suggesting others deserved the spot more. But now, in a stunning reversal, Ryan is praising Sanders, calling him a future leader, and demanding the Browns give him a real shot. The question everyone is asking, what changed? This isn't just a football story. It's a lesson in how quickly narratives shift in the NFL, and how much pressure even the most seasoned voices in sports media can face when their words spark controversy. At first, Ryan's comments sounded like just another tough opinion from a former coach turned analyst. But what he may not have expected was the firestorm that would follow. Fans, fellow analysts, and even NFL legends didn't just disagree with him. They came after him. And here's where things get even more interesting. The backlash didn't stay online. Reports began surfacing that NFL owners, massive. Suddenly, Ryan wasn't just debating talent. He was being questioned for his judgment, his credibility, and even his future in the league's media landscape. Rumors even suggest that Commissioner Roger Goodell himself was forced to step in behind the scenes to address the fallout. Now, Rex Ryan is in damage control mode. His tone has flipped from dismissive to supportive, from doubt to belief. He's highlighting Sanders' talent, praising his potential, and criticizing the Browns for not making him the backup. To the outside world, it looks like respect, but to many, it looks like survival. Because when the NFL machine turns its eye on you, one wrong move can be enough to put your entire career at risk. So the real question isn't just about Shedeur Sanders. It's about Rex Ryan himself. Did he genuinely change his mind, or is he simply trying to save face after sparking one of the biggest controversies of his broadcasting career? When Rex Ryan first spoke about Shedeur Sanders, H questioned whether Sanders had done enough to even deserve a serious role on the Browns roster. He compared him unfavorably to Dillon Gabriel and made it sound like Shedeur was little more than a name riding on hype rather than talent. Coming from a former NFL head coach with years of credibility on wrong to keep Sanders in the mix? Was management ignoring better options? His commentary went beyond one player. It painted the organization as one potentially making poor, short-sighted moves. That's why his remarks sparked such a reaction. It wasn't just about Shedeur Sanders. It was about whether a storied NFL franchise was mishandling its future. And for Shedeur, this moment represented something bigger than a single critique. Every young quarterback faces scrutiny, but when a name like Rex Ryan publicly doubts your talent, it can either bury you or fuel you. The criticism became a defining moment, forcing people to choose sides. Was Shedeur really not ready? Or was Ryan overlooking something? What makes Ryan's harsh comments so pivotal is how quickly they set the stage for everything that followed. His words lit the fuse. And when the backlash came, it revealed just how powerful and dangerous a single opinion can be in today's NFL media landscape. What makes this story so fascinating? Shedeur Sanders as unproven? Ryan did a complete 180. Suddenly, he wasn't just softening his stance. He was pushing the Browns to give Sanders more opportunities and openly criticizing the team for keeping veterans like Joe Flacco ahead of him. To anyone paying attention, it was a stunning turnaround. One moment, Ryan was saying Shedeur didn't deserve the role. The next, he was insisting the Browns were wasting a golden chance to develop their future quarterback. His words shifted from skepticism to admiration, highlighting Sanders' immense talent and calling him a player who needed to be showcased. For fans, the sudden change wasn't just surprising. It raised serious questions. What caused Ryan to backpedal so fast? Was it a genuine change of opinion? Or was something else going on behind the scenes? Ryan tried to frame his reversal as a matter of team building. According to him, the Browns needed to focus on the future by testing out young quarterbacks instead of leaning on aging. veterans. He argued that Sanders wasn't just another backup. He was a potential cornerstone who deserved the chance to prove himself. It was a bold statement, especially coming so soon after he had publicly downplayed Sanders' readiness. But if Ryan thought this flip would smooth things over, it only added more fuel to the fire. Critics immediately pointed out the hypocrisy. How could he go from doubting Sanders to praising him almost overnight? To many, the shift didn't feel authentic. It felt like damage control. The sudden praise looked less like support for Shedeur and more like a way for Ryan to dig himself out of the hole his earlier comments had created. This dramatic reversal is what turned a routine sports debate into a much larger controversy. It wasn't just about Shedeur anymore. It was about Rex Ryan himself. His credibility was now on the line, and fans were left wondering whether his words reflected true belief or pure self-preservation. Rex Ryan probably fought his calm television, but instead, they exploded into a full-blown firestorm. Almost immediately after questioning Shedeur Sanders, the NFL world fired back, and this time, Ryan wasn't just facing a few angry tweets. He was being called out by some of the biggest names in history. Irvin argued that instead of tearing Sanders down, Ryan should have been the first to encourage that self-belief. His take resonated with fans who felt Ryan's criticism was less about Sanders' play and more about personal bias. And then there were the fans themselves. Social media erupted, with countless people accusing Ryan of unfairly targeting a rookie who hadn't even been given the chance to prove himself yet. Hashtags started trending, and clips of Ryan's harsh words circulated widely, each one fueling more backlash. What might have started as just one analyst's opinion had now become a headline story across sports media. The reaction was so overwhelming that it began to shift the conversation away from Shedeur's abilities and onto Ryan's judgment. Was he simply wrong about Sanders, or was there something deeper motivating his criticism? That question wouldn't just linger. It would follow Ryan into every appearance he made from that point forward. As the backlash against, it wasn't just fans and former players who were speaking out. The Cleveland Browns themselves were pulled right into the middle of the storm. Suddenly, a routine debate over a young quarterback turned into a question of whether the team was mishandling one of its most intriguing prospects. Head coach Kevin Stefanski didn't hesitate to set the record straight. In a press conference that quickly made headlines, Stefanski directly addressed the rumors that Sanders was lazy, arrogant, or not putting in the work. His response was clear and firm. Those claims were flat out false. He emphasized that Shedeur had been fully committed in practice, highlighting his effort in red zone drills and his consistency during training sessions. Stefanski's words painted a very different picture than Ryan's, one of a player quietly grinding every day to earn his spot. This public defense mattered. Coaches rarely go out of their way to shield a rookie unless they truly believe in him. And Stefanski's tone. For the Browns organization, the priority was stability. They couldn't afford media-fueled distractions that might derail a young player's development. Behind the scenes, the frustration reportedly ran even deeper. Browns officials weren't happy that Ryan's remarks had stirred up unnecessary controversy around their team. Instead of focusing on development, they were now dealing with unwanted noise from the media. To them, Ryan wasn't just criticizing Shedeur. He was creating a distraction that could ripple through the locker room. The story was about to escalate beyond anything Ryan could have predicted. What Rex Ryan may not have realized when he first criticized Shedeur Sanders is that his words weren't just going to stay on TV. They were going to echo all the way up the NFL ladder. And in this league, when the wrong people start paying attention, the consequences can be far more serious than just a bad week of social media backlash. Reports soon surfaced that Ryan's harsh remarks had caught the attention of NFL owners. These weren't just casual observers. These were the people at the very top of the sport, men and women with billions invested in the league's image. To them, Ryan's comments weren't just about one rookie quarterback. They were about whether a high-profile media figure was damaging the brand by publicly attacking a young player without evidence. Goodell himself had taken notice. According to league insiders, Goodell wasn't happy with the controversy and even considered whether Ryan's role in NFL media should come to an end. That's how serious the fallout had become. A single analyst's hot take had spiraled into a league-wide issue that was now raising questions about credibility, professionalism, and the responsibility of those who speak under the NFL's banner. For Ryan, this was a nightmare scenario. As a former head coach turned analyst, his career in media depended on balancing strong opinions with respect for the league. But by going after Sanders so aggressively, he had crossed a line. And now, some of the most powerful figures in football were questioning whether he still deserved his platform. Behind the scenes, mediation efforts reportedly began. People close to both Ryan and the league worked to calm the situation, pushing to de-escalate before it caused permanent damage. But by this point, the message was clear. Ryan's career was suddenly hanging in the balance. This wasn't just about Shedeur Sanders anymore. It was about whether Rex Ryan could survive in a league where every word is scrutinized and every comment has the potential to spark chaos at the highest levels. Once Rex Ryan realized just how much heat his comments had generated, he had no choice but to change his tune. What started as a bold critique of Shedeur Sanders had grown into a controversy that put his entire media career at risk. The backlash from fans, players, Browns officials, and even NFL executives left Ryan cornered. And when powerful figures in the league are questioning your future, the only option left is damage control. That's exactly what Ryan attempted. Practically overnight, he began talking about Sanders in a completely different way. Suddenly, the same quarterback he had dismissed as unworthy was now being described as a future starter and a player with immense talent. Ryan even went as far as criticizing the Browns coaching staff for sticking with Joe Flacco instead of giving Sanders a chance to shine. His words painted a picture of a believer, someone who had always seen Sanders' potential. But to anyone following the story closely, it didn't feel genuine. Fans quickly noticed the about face. Social media lit up with clips comparing Ryan's old statements to his new ones, with people accusing him of flip-flopping to protect his reputation. The sudden wave of praise for Sanders came across less like admiration and more like survival, an effort to erase the damage his earlier criticism had caused. But the truth is, Ryan's pivot revealed something important about the power dynamics in the NFL. In today's media environment, you can't just tear down a young star without expecting blowback. The league values its image, and when a respected voice goes too far, it doesn't take long for the pushback to arrive. Ryan's dramatic reversal showed that even seasoned analysts aren't untouchable. Still, the damage had already been done. By trying to repair his standing with over-the-top praise, Ryan only fueled more skepticism about his true intentions. Was he really seeing Sanders in a new light? Or was he just saying whatever it took to keep his seat at the NFL media table? One thing was certain. The saga had now become bigger than Shedeur Sanders' future. It was about whether Rex Ryan could rebuild his credibility after such a public misstep. When the dust settled, one thing became clear. This was never just about Rex Ryan or Shedeur Sanders. It was a reminder of how powerful words can be in today's NFL. In a league where image is everything, one harsh comment on national television can spark a storm that reaches from fans on Twitter all the way to the commissioner's office. And once that fire starts, it's almost impossible to control. Rex Ryan learned that lesson the hard way. His initial critique of Sanders might have been intended as just another strong take, the kind of commentary that gets headlines and debate. But instead of sparking healthy discussion, it spiraled into a narrative that made him look out of touch and reckless. The backlash proved that when you go after a young star, especially one carrying as much hype and cultural weight as Shedeur, Sanders, you're not just speaking your opinion, you're shaping the perception of millions of viewers, and that comes with consequences. What's more, this situation highlighted how carefully analysts and insiders have to walk the line between honesty and respect. Fans want bold opinions, but they don't want cheap shots. Owners and executives want excitement around their players, not narratives that undermine the league's rising talent. And for former coaches like Ryan, who rely on credibility to stay relevant, every comment becomes a test of balance. For Shedeur Sanders, though, the incident may have been a blessing in disguise. Instead of being shaken by Ryan's criticism, he emerged with more support than ever before. Fans rallied to defend him. Fellow players voiced their respect, and even the league's top figures appeared to be watching his back. In a strange twist, Ryan's words may have actually elevated Sanders' image rather than damaged it. The bigger picture? The NFL isn't just about touchdowns and stats anymore. It's about narratives, branding, and the battles that play out in the media. And in that world, one careless comment can flip careers upside down. Rex Ryan's saga wasn't just a clash between a former coach and a rookie quarterback. It was proof that in today's NFL, words can make or break you. So, what's the takeaway from this entire saga? At first glance, it seems like a story about one quarterback, Shedeur Sanders, and one outspoken analyst, Rex Ryan. But when you look closer, it's much bigger than that. It's about the ripple effects of words, the pressure of public scrutiny, and how even seasoned voices in the NFL media can be forced to backtrack under intense pressure. Ryan's rapid flip from criticizing Sanders to praising him shows just how high the stakes are when you comment on rising talent. One misstep, and you're suddenly not just debating a player's ability, you're debating your credibility, your career, and your influence in the league. For Sanders, this entire controversy underscores how talent and poise can withstand criticism. Despite Ryan's harsh remarks, he stayed focused, continued putting in the work, and earned backing from his coach, teammates, and even fans. In a league where rookies are constantly tested, this kind of resilience can define a career. And it raises a key question. Should young players let public opinion or media scrutiny affect their confidence? Or should they keep grinding no matter what's being said about them? Then there's Rex Ryan. Did he genuinely realize Sanders' potential, or was this all damage control after facing backlash? That's something viewers have to decide for themselves. What's undeniable, though, is that his experience serves as a cautionary tale. In today's NFL, every statement is amplified, every opinion dissected, and one poorly chosen word can spiral into a full-blown crisis. It's a reminder that influence comes with responsibility, and public figures must weigh their words carefully before making claims about a player's abilities or character. Ultimately, this story isn't just about football. It's about power, perception, and the fine line between critique and recklessness. And it leaves fans with a lingering question. In a world where reputations can be made or broken by what's said on live TV or social media, who really holds the power? The players after the backlash? And how far should commentators go before their words start impacting careers? Share your thoughts, because in the NFL, everyone's watching and every opinion counts.